The Impossible Massacre: How Finnish Farmers Humiliated Stalin's Empire. Joseph Stalin sent 500,000 men to crush a tiny nation of farmers, expecting a victory parade in 2 weeks. But instead, he triggered the bloodiest, most embarrassing humiliation in military history. You've been told that numbers win wars, but what happened in the frozen forests of Finland proves that a man with a pair of skis and a grudge is more dangerous than 1,000 tanks. But the most terrifying part? It wasn't just the bullets killing the Red Army. It was a psychological tactic so brutal and disturbing that even decades later, survivors refuse to speak of it. And I'm going to reveal that exact secret at the end of this video. In 1939, the Soviet Union was an unstoppable superpower. They had the tanks, the planes, and an endless supply of men. Finland? They had hunters. They had loggers. They had people who spent their lives fighting the cold. It looked like a death sentence for the Finns. Every military expert on the planet expected Finland to vanish from the map in a matter of days. But Stalin made one fatal mistake. He underestimated Sisu, a Finnish word for a level of grit and courage so intense it borders on insanity. Imagine being a Soviet soldier. You're trapped in a metal tank in 40 below weather. You can't see 10 feet in front of you because of the blinding blizzard. Suddenly, shadows start screaming out of the trees. These weren't professional soldiers. These were local farmers on skis, moving like ghosts at 30 miles per hour through the deep snow. They used something called Motti tactics. They would let the massive Soviet columns stretch out for miles on narrow forest roads. Then they would strike the middle, chopping the army into small, isolated pockets. They didn't just fight, they liquidated. They used Molotov cocktails, literally glass bottles of gasoline named after the Soviet foreign minister, to turn state-of-the-art tanks into iron coffins. Can you imagine the sheer terror of knowing that every tree around you is watching you, but you can't see a single soul? And then there was the legend of the White Death, a single farmer named Simo Häyhä, who took out over 500 invaders using a rifle with no scope. He would actually keep snow in his mouth so his breath wouldn't give away his position in the freezing air. But here is the disturbing truth I promised you. The Finns didn't just kill their enemies, they waged a war of pure psychological horror. When Soviet soldiers froze to death in the night, the Finnish farmers would find their bodies and prop them up in the snow. They would stand the frozen corpses upright, stiff as boards, pointing toward the Soviet lines to greet the next wave of reinforcements. Imagine marching into a forest and seeing your dead friends standing like statues, watching you. It broke the Soviet mind before it ever broke their line. In the end, the Red Army lost over 120,000 men to a group of guys in white hoodies. It's the ultimate proof that heart beats hardware every single time. If you want to join the 1% who actually know the hidden history the world tries to forget, you know which button to click. Hit subscribe and join the front lines of the truth.